It is my honor now to introduce Mingyur Rinpoche to all of you. Mingyur Rinpoche was born in 1975 in Nepal to a really remarkable family. His father was a very famous meditation teacher in the Kagyu and Nyingma tradition in Tibetan Buddhism in the 20th century, Tuko Urgyen Rinpoche. I first met Mingyur Rinpoche in 1995 at a meeting with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Dharamsala, India. And he was 19 years old at the time. And from a very early age, Mingyur Rinpoche has expressed a very sincere curiosity about and deep interest in science and its possible intersection with Buddhism and other contemplative traditions. Mingyur Rinpoche has been to our laboratory here in Madison on many occasions and has generously been a participant in research studies and, even more importantly, a collaborator, a thought partner, and someone who has helped to shed light on contemplative practices that has been of great benefit to millions of people on the planet, including the scientific community. Mingyur Rinpoche also has taken the science of climate change to heart and has really been at the forefront in speaking out about these issues in ways that I think are so vitally important in our contemporary situation today. So it's really a joy for me to introduce Mingyur Rinpoche and to have Rinpoche talk to us today. So thank you, Rinpoche, for being here.
Hello, thank you, Richie. Thank you very much. And thank you, Digila, and all the organizers to make this event available. And today, my topic is a little bit related with the resilience, which is connected with the environment issue now in the world. So for my personal practice that we strongly emphasize since my childhood is about to build up resilience. There's two things. That one is what we call letting go, and the letting go is not giving up. So normally we confuse between letting go and giving up. So letting go meaning accepting the reality. Reality is what we call up and down, is impermanence. It changes all the time, depend on the many causes and conditions. But because reality is what we call impermanent, it changes. There are so many possibilities, opportunities, potentials, and new doorways. But if our mind fixed with a permanent, so like this is the only way, or this should be, or only my way is better, then we fix there. And then we will not see the many different opportunities, potentials, doors, different possibilities. So normally I'm sharing a lot about my childhood experience. I was born in the Nepal, in the Himalayan mountain. So in the Himalayan mountain, normally like we have like native people there in the Himalayan mountain. And as like I think Digila mentioned about many part of the world, the native, like the First Nation and the really indigenous people knows a lot about the environment, interdependent. So in my hometown, what we call Rigya and Lungya. So this is the in Tibetan word. So Rigya meaning seal the mountain, Lungya meaning seal the valley. So that means you cannot cut trees, seal the mountain. But of course you can cut that, like some branches. You can take the dead trees, like trees kind of like already died, and that is what we believe is good for also not having big fire, and also not sealing the and Lungja. And my grandfather was the head of the, like, spiritual head of the village. So in my hometown we have about not so many people, about maybe 200 to 300 people, and we all work as like team, kind of like eco nature hierarchy, but not the hierarchy as the Western company, you know. It's kind of like interdependent, everybody relying each other, connecting each other, like in the forest everybody works together, right? Ecosystem. But then slowly these values, these traditions die, and then a lot of things, like economy, business, capitalism, even impacting my village. And then many people cut the trees and sell this to the different place nearby neighbor countries, and then now there's not so much tree left in my hometown. So, and I remember when I was young, around maybe 8 years old, if I walk half hour, I can see the glacier. I can touch. There's a lake, and around lake there's a glacier, the ice mountain. I can touch. But now, recently I went to my hometown. I have to walk for 2 hours to touch the glacier. So all these are melting. So now what can we do? So from my perspective, don't give up. So try best to use what we call our wisdom, capacity, whatever we can. So the world is based on the individual, and if individual try to change themselves, try to transform. For example, if I have my some kind of private land, I try to plant the trees. So I stay now in Nepal, Kathmandu, and my mother bought a land next to the monastery, and I plant a lot of trees, grass, and some vegetables. So it's become like small forest. So if one person can plant 3 trees, then everybody plant 3 trees that can influence, then it's become, the world can change, isn't it? So it's really important that whatever we can, normally what we think is we want to have result quickly, and we want to have according to our big expectation, and then if it doesn't happen, then we give up. So then even whatever work we do, after a certain level, maybe we burn out, maybe we feel, nothing can change, I cannot change the world, so there's no point to making effort from that small thing. This small effort cannot change world, so there's no point to do. Or I need to change the world, I need to change the world. And then if we're too tight, then we burn out, and then we cannot see other possibilities. So many different cause conditions might be there. So back to my hometown. So after few years before, then I was thinking maybe I will do something to my hometown, and I was really thinking, what can I do? Of course, I can help to plant all these trees, and if I go there and I just tell them my idea to change whole village, I'm the kind of like descendant of the head of the spiritual master in hometown. Maybe they can trust me and believe me. But I was thinking, first really listen to the people there, and also at the same time how I can change through environment that can really help the environment, at the same time can help the lives people there in hometown. So we begin to build a lot of greenhouses. So now we have many greenhouses for few village in upper and then my hometown and lower. So we begin to make many greenhouses, and that really helps them. Normally in my hometown, the vegetable only grow for 5 months. Now 11 months. Even some vegetable grow whole year with the greenhouse. And that really helps because in my hometown, the most problem is vegetables. The only way to get vegetable is from the mule, like donkey and mule, for 5 days journey with a lot of plastic bags, plastic rubber, and the tanks. All this become very damaging the environment there. So since we have a lot of local vegetables and whole family can, have vegetable from the their own greenhouse, and they can even sell the local guest house. They can get income. And another thing is, we are thinking about in my hometown we have this a Himalayan rose, and that has the berry. And then we try to make tea and sell to the big company, and all the surplus directly go to the local special women's and in my hometown, and they get income, and they're also very happy to plant these trees in the Himalaya, in the mountain. So these trees can produce income for the local people, and also plant more into the mountains, good for the environment. So I think this kind of different way to think about how to help. Try everybody use our own wisdom, our own capacity, our own skill. I think is really, really important. So, for example, when I was young, I received a lot of meditation teachings from my father. The main reason is I had panic attacks, so I was really suffer. And then I asked to my father to teach me meditation. And he's talk about if you're going somewhere, and then if you reach the dead end, a huge wall in front of you, so you cannot really go through. No way, it's just wall there. And he said, first thing is you should take out your backpack and through the other side of the wall. So now your backpack is other side of the wall, and then maybe you can go through. So how we can go through the wall? So the first what we think is I need to break through the wall. Otherwise, there's a dead end. No hope, come back. Or maybe you hit your head to the wall, banging the wall. I have to go through. Since I should not give up, and I have to go through, break through this wall. Will that help? No, impossible. What happened? You will damage you will hurt your head. You will have the big in my hometown, what we call, you will have big potato appear here, meaning you will get injured. But it doesn't mean you cannot cross the wall. So maybe look around. Bring staircase, staircase. You can climb through staircase. Or using the rock climbing skill, you can climb. Or use rope, maybe throw tiny rope and you can cross. Or maybe you can go detour. Who knows, maybe under. There's so many possibilities there. when we accept that everything is impermanence, impermanent meaning full of possibility, potential, opportunities, it's change, of course, up and down. Our life is up and down, the world is up and down. And normally what I talk about the life, the world is like wave of the ocean. It's go up and down. But then if you try to against the wave, what happened? The water go into our nose and lung. Actually, it's become difficult. But then if you play with the wave, you can swim, you can, play the skip boat, what do you call it? And you can do so many fun with the wave. So up and down in our life, even though now the world is facing very difficult situation, the environmental crisis and related with the partiality, political problem, conflicts in the world, but we should not give up and understand the reality, understand that there's a problem, acknowledge that. But at the same time, we are more than what we believe. We are more than what we think of. So normally what we call, if we have 10 qualities, 1 negative, 9 positive, normally what we see is only 1 negative one, and we exaggerate that 1 negative, and we deny 9 good qualities within us. So should not give up, try our best, use our capacity, wisdom. We have the skills. Normally what we call, everybody has innate well-being. We all have this, sometimes what we call basic innate goodness or potential, human potential. So we all have that. So try your best, try our best to go forward, but at the same time, accepting up and down. And up and down is good, actually. Up also good, inspire, happy. But the down, normally we learn more, we grow more, we can go beyond our boundary. So this is the first thing about how to build resilience, is letting go but not giving up. So how to let go and not give up? Accepting impermanence, accepting up and downs of life. And sometimes what I call up and down of the life is like stock market. Stock market go up and down. This is why people make business. If the stock market flat, nobody can make business, right? It's go up and down. So therefore you can make business. So this is very important. And second important is for me, it's very important about to develop compassion. So we want to help the environment, we want to help the people living in the world, in the planet, but normally there's empathy, sympathy, or compassion, and these two are quite similar. So empathy, normally thinking about self, looking inward and projecting. So you are feeling the stress, you're feeling this chaotic of the world, you're feeling the environmental disasters and the conflicts and all this, and then you're taking in. So then what happened? We feel sometimes stress, we feel burnout, and after a certain level we cannot do much. But the compassion is different. And compassion is you willing to help, ready to help. So when you come out, focus the wanting to help, not self, not thinking about only self, but the others, and wanting to help, then what happened? Mind become more courage, more powerful, more peaceful in a way, and less sensitive, and more accept, and easy to kind of like develop, of course, a resilient, and less sensitive because it's not too much about me. my way, my idea, my style. So it's about others. So when we think about others, and of course that helps yourself, of course, you and others are interdependent. So thinking about others, also thinking about ourselves. So it's really important practice. And I think Richie has a lot of research about the difference between empathy and compassion. Even in the brain, they are in the different aspects, right? Maybe Richie, do you want to say something a little bit about that?
I certainly can, Rinpoche. So you've said it really beautifully, but what we see in the brain is that when a person is expressing empathy, the networks in the brain that are associated with stress and with fear are activated, and that actually can inhibit a person's ability to act. And with compassion, we see something completely different. And we actually see, and this was one of the first surprising findings that we observed when you first came to the laboratory, Rinpoche, we actually see that there are networks associated with action that are activated during compassion. And it's as if compassion is preparing you to act whenever suffering is encountered. And so it's a very different response. It's not focused on the self, but it's focused on acting in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So now how we can bring these two practices together, and I would like to share in the end a little bit meditation. So we can combine this impermanent practice and the compassion practice together with the breathing at the beginning, breathing. So the meditation, what we call the essence of meditation, is awareness. Awareness means knows what you're thinking, feeling, doing. So maybe I will ask you a question. How many of you are breathing right now? Raise your hand. I hope you are raising hand in front of the screen. So now that is the meditation. How this become meditation? When I ask you, are you raising hand? In that moment, your mind, your breath together. Your awareness is with the breath. You know you're breathing in, you know you're breathing out. Or you feel you're breathing in, you're feeling you're breathing out. Whatever, feeling or knowing or being with the breath. So let's try to do this together. So please, everyone, if you can, keep your spine loosely straight and relax muscles in your body. And if you want, you can close your eyes and just feel the gravity in your body and just relax. And now breathe normally, natural breathing. And now please, your mind, be with the breath. When you're breathing in, you know that you're breathing in. When the breathing going out, to be aware of that breathing is going out. And it is just a glimpse. Your mind cannot be with the breath too long, just glimpse. Let it be glimpse. Now, while your mind with the breath, you may have so many other thoughts may appear. Oh, what to-do list tomorrow? Oh, there's environmental problems. Oh, I didn't do my good job. Oh, I forget something. Oh, I'm hungry. I like to eat pizza. All these are okay. But as long as if you remember your breathing, if you glimpse of remembering your breath, whatever to-do list, all this disturbing thought, or a pizza, they can come. So everything is allowed. everything is okay as long as if you still remember the glimpse of the breath. So learning okay, learning everything's okay is self-compassion. And it is accepting. It is learning, letting go. But you're not give up. You're constantly remember that you're breathing. Now, while you're breathing, there's something else happening, which is your breath is changing. When you're breathing in, the oxygen is coming in. When you're breathing out, carbon dioxide going out. And at the same time, your lungs are expanding, expanding, and contracting, contracting. To be aware of this change. And meanwhile, you are being with these changes. Again, there's a bala bala bala, yada yada yada. Am I doing right? Maybe wrong. Who knows? Everything's okay. Allowed. Okay with not okay. Accept with any problems. As long as if you still keep remember your breathing. And not only your lungs are changing, your chest are changing, your heartbeat, your blood circulation, everything is changing. To understand that, of course, you cannot experience all the changes, but to accept that change. And your cells in the body are changing. And not only your body is changing, the cushion, the house where you're staying, the earth, the entire universe is changing. At the same time, when you're breathing in, breathing out. So, nothing which is fixed. Everything has potential, possibility, new opportunity, new doorway. So, accept the changes and make it friends with the changes and transform the future to help the planet, to help the beings in the world. Now slowly open your eyes and rest your mind, be as it is for a few seconds. Okay, so this is a first step, what we call self-compassion. Normally, whatever we do, something important, we immediately think, am I doing right, wrong, it's okay, not, all these things. So now, everything's okay. Learning how to accept. Learning okay with not okay. So this is the compassion. And then you can do that to the others. So then at the same time, we'll let go, but as I mentioned before, not give up, back to the breath, glimpse, glimpse. And then we see it's changing, the wisdom, impermanence. So this wisdom of impermanence and heart of the compassion together with the meditation, then it really develop resilience. Then actually we can do more. So I'm teaching a lot around the world, a lot of busy schedule, but I don't feel so much stress. I don't feel so much tired. I can do many things, but the less effort, less burning the energy. So thank you very much, and I will stop here for my talk.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. That was really wonderful and I think very practical. There are many questions that are coming in, and I wonder if we can have you respond to a few of the questions now.
Yes.
So one person asks, how should one start their practice? Someone who's not practiced this before, they're asking, how can we begin?
So maybe every day, 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I think, Richie, you conduct the research about school teachers, right? So
Yes.
4 to 5 minutes per day. Maybe you can share about that one.
Yes. So what we see, what Rinpoche is referring to, is that among very stressed public school teachers in the United States, in a research study that we did, 4 to 5 minutes a day of practice, of the kind of practice that Rinpoche guided us through, was enough for 30 days, if you do it each day for 30 days, to produce really big changes on measures of well-being and depression and anxiety on the order of between 10 and 25%, depending on which measure it was. So the research shows that even short amounts of practice that we do every day can really be beneficial.
Yeah, just short time for day. Normally in our tradition, what we call few breathing at the beginning, like breathing in, breathing out, just few this first. And then you can start long. Maybe you can do every day, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. But important is consistency every day, like brushing teeth. You spend 3 minutes per day, right? But every day you have to do, right? Similarly at the beginning. That will be good. And this breathing meditation, that's good enough.
Thank you. So another person is asking, what do you recommend for someone who is deeply compassionate and want to do the work, but don't feel like they have the capacity to do the work?
So think out of the box. What is what I can do? What is my skill? What I like? There's so many things can do. Maybe everyone has some unique things there. Maybe we all cannot do everything, but what is maybe suitable? Normally, our intellectual mind may be sometimes related with the different experience. We want to do that, but we want doesn't mean we can. So each one has a different capacity. For me, I have the vision. Vision is quite good, but the detail not so good. So what I do, I don't involve so much for the detail. Of course, if I make effort, can, but this require a lot of energy. But I start vision, guide, and I can do many things with many people together. So something like that, see what you can do. And everybody has capacity in a way, your own way. Every like fire is warm and heat, water is the liquid and can drink and clean, but fire cannot drink and water cannot make warm, or warm always this quality may not be the same, but everybody has unique things.
Wonderful, thank you. So another person, Kriti Kanko, is asking that it might be great to define empathy versus compassion, and how can individual practitioners move from empathy to compassion?
So the empathy is more with the normally there's some kind of self motivated a little bit, and then feel others, and not this of course have the motivation is a little bit small, and then experiencing others pain and take it to yourself, and you are pain getting the pain is sometimes what we call in the text what we call the little bit of self-centered, or maybe not bad ego, but then just concern about the self. But the compassion is wanting to help. So then there's a kind of like mind not focus too much about the self, but it's not like you hate yourself. Of course you have compassion, self-compassion, but you wanting to help others. So then there's courage comes, then there's a more kind of like confident, and then less sensitive, because if the about self, then everything matters. So even we do some social thing and there's some kind of like what benefit for me, what about me, it's not bad, but you can help, nothing wrong, but then there's sensitive, and that become burnout. So more about others, more about self. So that's the difference.
Yeah, such an important distinction. Thank you, Rinpoche. David Takahashi is asking that he says that in your life, in some ways, I'm just editorializing a little, you left the palace or the monastery. Certainly you did that in your 4.5-year wandering retreat. And he says, much like the Buddha, we all have metaphorical palaces we need to leave in order to test our potential.
I think nowadays everybody has this what I call opportunity. So I talk about when you become 18 years old, you move away from your parents' home. Also same thing, wandering, you can practice wandering retreat. Maybe when we become 25 years old, we move in. Also, we begin, we begin to start new job. There's opportunity. We lost job, another opportunity. New relationship, another opportunity. Break up, another opportunity. So normally what we call these are the Bardo moments. Bardo meaning, in Tibetan word Bardo meaning intermediate. So plenty of opportunity. You don't have to do like me, everything give up. This is kind of like a risky. I'm not really recommending. I almost die, at the beginning. Sometimes I thought it's like suicide mission. So I'm not recommended. But we all have the problems everywhere, up and downs everywhere. Each up, each down, there's a Bardo moment. Special down moment is very valuable. So we can go out of the down moments, that we can go out of our cocoon, our bubble, and then what we call like in the neuroscience, what you call neuroplasticity, right? So the real plasticity active to transform ourselves in that up and down, special down moment. But if we accept that, embrace that, then we can really change ourselves, transform, learn, and grow.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Rinpoche. Another person says that he or she, they say, I find it hard to concentrate on breath. So many thoughts. Can body scan be a substitute practice instead of breathing meditation?
Yes, of course. You can do body. Also, you can do, if it's very difficult, a lot of thought, and you can make another thought. Let's say, I'm fine, everything's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. Repeat that in your mind silently, what we call silent recitation. I'm fine, everything's fine. You don't have to worry about the meaning, whether you're really fine or not, it doesn't matter. Just the word, I'm fine, everything fine. So when you repeat that word without using your mouth, then you have to connect with awareness. So that means you're in the meditation. You are engaging with awareness. So try that one also. Or sound meditation also, just listen to sound. Of course, awareness of body is very, very important practice. There are so many techniques that we can change. So I just teach today because of the time, just one practice.
That's great. Thank you. It's very practical advice. So another person is asking, how can a highly empathic person jump into action about the climate crisis? I want to do more, but feel like I can't with my history of complex traumas.
So, I mean, you can do anything that around you, maybe save the water, maybe clean your nearby you, or maybe plant some trees in the pot, even in the room. So many different things we can do, small things. And even you cannot do the big thing to change the world, is okay. And especially I do special during the COVID time, a lot of garden work, planting trees, planting vegetables. It's really good for exercise and good for the, I think, mind also. So these are good for your inner environment and outside.
Yeah, thank you. One of the things I love about your teaching, Rinpoche, is that it is very practical, and every human being can take these small, simple steps that you're describing, and in that way connect to action. So that's really helpful, I think. And maybe we have time for one more question. I think we're supposed to end at on the hour tequila here in the US. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So one final question. Deva Kiblau is asking: is there something beyond compassion? Is there a next step?
So normally we have these four things, four immeasurable. So first is loving kindness. Second is compassion. Third is joy. And then the last is equanimity. So loving kindness, love or loving kindness is to see the happiness, the virtue, and wish to have you and others to have more happiness, special causes of happiness. Compassion is free from suffering, wanting to help them to free from alleviate suffering, and special the causes of suffering. And then joy is like appreciation, those who are having all this virtue and happiness free from suffering. You're happy about that. You're happy about whoever have joy and the freedom. Appreciate gratitude to yourself, to others, and eventually deep level you can have this with the people who you like or you don't like. You have this love and compassion with everybody, and they become equanimity. So there are four practices there.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with this group. And I know that there are many practical tips that were conveyed, and I think you've been enormously helpful. So thank you for all you're doing.
You're most welcome, and thank you, Richie, and thank you so much, Tigila, to make this wonderful event and organizing, and all the participants. Appreciate. Thank you.
Kadinche Rumujila, we're so grateful to have you here with us. Thank you so much, Richie. We appreciate it so much. Thank you, both of you.